We all know who Ben Riley is. And if you're coming here and you don't know who Ben Riley is, well, it sucks for you. Well, because he's one of the best Spider-Man. So after his introduction in one of the old Spider-Man or Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man comics, he sort of died, but then he came back in the 90s. And then apparently there was an early test clone named Kane Parker. So this video is mostly going to be about how confusing both of them are. And 3, 2, 1, here's our introduction. So basically, I'm getting this from mostly me thinking that they are the same person. I was just thinking that Kane, or Scarlet Spider 2, known as Kane, was basically Ben Riley, but changed his name again. And that's just really confusing. And I'm not talking about the third Scarlet Spider at the bottom of the S, or you can see her through the SR at the end of Scarlet Spiders. Basically, I'm not going to talk about her. And we're not going to bring up Peter Parker in any of this. So we all know how the Cologne Saga had to do with basically just Ben Riley just talking to Peter and saying, I'm the real one. I'm the real one. I'm the real one. But then Ben finds out there's another Cologne that murders people for fun, basically. But he sort of turns good in the Ben Riley, the Scarlet Spider run, which doesn't make any sense. Which is basically why I'm making this video, since they can change personalities like every 6 seconds. And mostly that's what you're going to have to need to make them sound confusing, alright? And then, basically, when you're looking at these two Spider-Men, you're just like, oh, the one with the normal-looking suit, the one on the right, that's Peter Parker. And then you would probably say the one on the left is probably Ben. But you're wrong with both, as Kane and Ben are basically the same exact person, because they were both made from using Peter's blood, and then they end up fighting, even though they're the same exact person. It's like a doppelganger fight, even though their colognes are the same exact person. And then Ben's just crying over here because he's not the real Peter Parker. And then also, Kane is sad because apparently he can't do anything, but then he turns good in that run from Peter David, or David Peters. And then, literally, they just switch up on you and you don't even know it. This is basically just me ranting about the Ben Riley, the Scarlet Spider run, but I'm just trying to talk about both of them. Basically, when you're just looking at them, you can think what Ben, or the spider suit on the screen right now for Ben, is. You're going to think lighthearted, cute Spider-Man that fights people and helps people. But in that run, that exact run, basically that whole Scarlet Spider run, or the Scarlet Spider Ben Riley run, that has both of them, so I can just talk about that one, okay? Okay. Like the video if you agree with me. So basically, when you're looking at Ben Riley's, you're just like, oh, he's like Peter Parker. He fights crime, helps people. But in that exact run, he shoots people, beats them up, gets a new suit. And then and then he became a villain for a little bit, which means Kane had to do most of the work around New York without Spider-Man, since Spider-Man was doing, like, having to fight around Ben. And then Kane was just basically left there to die. I don't know if they made a run during the Scarlet Spider run about Kane. Hopefully it wasn't called Kane Parker, the Scarlet Spider, because that would make no sense. Like, for real, who's gonna watch a show? I mean, like, read a comic called The Scarlet Spider and stuff with, like, I don't know, Kane Parker. Let's just, like, someone's gonna throw a dart at a board and make a new name and then make this new person a Scarlet Spider. Honestly, when you're just looking at both of these guys, Kane looks like he's more friendlier when you're talking about the one in the Peter David Ben Riley run. And then Ben shoots people in the face. He like changes personalities every 2 seconds, and then he ends up being good for 2 seconds, and before you like him, he goes back to shooting people in the face. I mean, I get why that series got backlash, because of course it wasn't exactly like a Spider-Man comic, since one character in it was wielding a gun, and then you're just like, oh, well, he has to use a gun to threaten defense himself. But he's Spider-Man. He can threaten wet people's face, kick them in the face, punch them, throw a dog knocker. Only Pigpen people know what that's from the Spider-Man iceberg. And then Scarlet Spider can throw a Cloblin, but instead he shoots people in the face. That's not what Scarlet Spider means. King can turn into a giant spider monster, but he doesn't shoot people in the face. And that's going to be it for the video. And I'm going to restart it. And that's going to be it for today's video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.